what Ruto did is to take Raila to Addis Ababa without public participation. Because maybe if this matter had been subjected to public participation, then Kenyans could have told him they don't think it's a good idea. But again, because of things that are done without reference to the people, he was taken there, and now this is the result. And I also need to say that all those letters or emails, communications that were sent to the leaders of other African countries, I think it is possible that many of those leaders were influenced by the fact of, if it's common knowledge that so many young people from Kenya have sent letters and then you don't do what they are asking, then also your youth in your own country are going to have an issue. So I think the power that is being demonstrated by Kenya's youth, the Gen Zs, which even before, during last year, June, again was influencing the continent. I think this is very potent power. It is something that, you must not lose. And of course, it looked like the abductions, the, arrests and the brutalization and the killings and so on. It looked like, people were beginning to get scared. Fear was being sold. But again, there was that continuous, like Okayo said, there was that other way of engaging in the struggle, so that now the leadership does not know how to mark you, because they're used to confronting each other in ordinary space. But now when you're fighting in a different way, then it takes time for them to know what to do, and so one must one must really commend the young people for this versatility in terms of struggle. And again, there's somebody who said in previous struggles, let us say the struggles of the 90s, the sophistication that the young people have and their resilience, their determination is kind of different. And that is why if, one is in government, one must actually rethink how to approach these young people. I don't think confrontation, abducting them, arresting them, and all that kind of stuff, I don't think that will work. And that can't work. So we wait to see whether there's going to be a rethink of, to stop all those things. And of course, because Raila twice, once when he was with the president and another time again, he said that, young people should not be, abducted. So now when he comes back, I think it will be important for us to see how he makes that message a real message in terms of its realization. Because now he's supposed to have the majority in parliament. His side is the majority side, Azimio, although other people had moved away from Azimio. And, the Azimio people were quick to occupy the opposition side. I was even wondering if they say if they didn't want to do that, because they're still in government and they're in opposition, which is something that is not known to democratic systems. But I think it will be important for us to see that he's keeping his word in terms of saying, okay, now if these abductions don't stop, if this demonization and punishment and stuff like that against young people does not stop, then if he were to say that he would not be able now to support the government anymore, I think at least that would be something that young people can say, okay, maybe he has, there has been even if not a genuine Damascus system, Damascus moment, it is something. So I think he has options. For example, he can stay, with the president, support him, and maybe, they try to see whether they can get a prime minister position, change the constitution, but people have said they'll resist that. Maybe even do opposition in office of the opposition, maybe interest Kalonzo in that. So I think they will come and kind of rest a little, rethink, and then start to say what is it that needs to be done, because this is a big blow by demonstrating that on the continent, even East African community, that there isn't much support to the administration here. So one thing is, he might decide to continue, supporting and say that is what he will do. Those who are in government, tell him that let's continue. Maybe ODM will inherit, the government at some point, stuff like that. Or he could say that he's done with Ruto, because there's also pressure, and particularly some of it is pressure on an ethnic basis, that he has been betrayed, because enough was not done to get him to win. But of course, knowing how Africa is, you can't really blame. You can't say there was a betrayal. I think a lot of funds were used and all that kind of stuff. It's only that the African leadership has a problem with our country's leadership as of now. So he might decide that I'm, quitting. I even want to now become a presidential candidate. This is the last bullet. That's something that he could say. I don't know whether I can say now, I want to pass the baton to others in the ODM group and so on and so forth. I don't know what that can happen, but I'm sure those are options that are going to be explored, especially the option of staying with Ruto, the option of deciding to support, deciding to stand himself. That is still open. Raila is very, very, very adept at reinventing himself. Only that this time around, it will take lots of effort. I would myself, two things as I learned, or three. The celebrations are good. They are very good because they energize, the movement. The movement says yes, we have scored. So that's good, but it must not be too long, because there is work ahead, and it is difficult work. It's not easy work, and if anybody thinks that is easy work, then they don't know what they're up against. So celebration is in order, but then to strategize and to say how is it going forward. Then two, it's not important, it's not necessary to attack a lot of the supporters of Raila and kind of tell them that, you have lost, we told you would lose, and now we are victorious and stuff. Because one must work on their minds to get them on your side, to try as much as possible to show them that, the winning is on this side, and there's a new Kenya to be crafted. And therefore, let's work together. I think that's something that requires to be worked on. And then finally, I like the fact that young people are saying now we want to actually occupy these positions. We want to target the IBC to make sure that goes right. We want to make sure that young people, register as the ID thing, then the voters thing, so that becomes serious business, and political education serious business, going up to the grassroots. And also now the young people want to stand, you really to say that this is the time to pass the baton. Like even the Raila thing has shown that it's the baton being passed at the continental level. And so that, people say all these positions, at the minimum, we want half of them, and we deserve them. and to tell the parents that, this unemployment, we must deal with it, of young people. This, killing of young people, we must deal with it. We must breathe fresh air to our country. And I think it is doable. It is a lot of legwork, but it is doable given the skills that you have demonstrated. And then finally, I keep on thinking that the young people themselves, uh, even as they will go to some political parties finally, to whether it's their own political party, whether it's a collection of them, whatever, but as they do that, I think it's important for you guys to have your own movement. Don't mind about it being registered, so that it is that movement that supports all these young people who go into whatever party, so that people can now see that the spirit of the Gen Z is incubated in that movement, and then that movement helps anybody who is going into those position. And of course, you'll know how to vet each other so that you also don't get jokers or betrayers who are young pretending that they are fresh. Then finally, I think it's important for these other guys who say they support you, and who, are saying that they want to take top leadership. The Omtatas, the Kigames, the the Mukisas, I don't know, Mother Karua, and all those guys, the positive guys. Also, Maraga has thrown his whatever, heart in it. There was a time some of you were also supporting Matiang, I don't know. So it's important to tell all those people who support, including others who are not interested in political positions, so that again they begin to come and to tell Kenyans, we are supporting these young people to rescue our country, and we are here working with them, and we are not, this thing of I must be the one, that kind of stuff. That is not how it is done, because if you do it that way, these other guys are going to be very happy. They will even plant candidates for you. They'll divide you, and there'll be an abortion of the Gen Z spirit. So thank you very much, Redemptor 254. Guys, just continue. God is on your side. The people are on your side, and things will be well. I land.